Welcome to your morning coffee with Chris MVP Harris.
Are you ready?
Because you don't know what they are. They want to be Hebrew, Christian. It's like they really don't know. It's all crazy to me, and it gets quite tiresome.
Chris MVP Harris.
If you would like, you can come on the panel.
You can't handle the truth.
Are you serious? Burn that book. Burn it.
It's time.
Welcome to your morning coffee with Chris MVP Harris.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Peace to everybody in the chat. Good morning. Do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that like button if you are in the chat, family. That's how this platform will grow. Family, I hope you guys have gotten over there to the Supreme Intelligentsia conversation and debates channels and subscribe to that. A lot of great things are going to be coming with that. Me, Brother Kansu, and many other bookworms that you guys love to hate and hate to love. So I want to give a shout out to everybody tuning in today, tuning in this morning. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? We got the pseudo killers in the building. Thank you, pseudo killers, for last night. We had a good time. What up, though? Nana pseudo crew boy. Infinite Guide, Simply Difficult is in the building. Cedric Ortega is in the building. Yeah, y'all gonna get this work this morning, boy. Shout out to him. Shout out to Brandon Angola, Harold Richardson, Kurt Harv is in the building. Late Show 42 is in the building. Dr. Bombay is in the building, and 31 people are all in the building as we get this thing getting ready to get going and get started. As the room continues to grow, family, do me a favor, hit that like button, man, because we're gonna have some fun this morning. We're gonna jump on everybody's favorite Negro light, Judah Natzarah, for about 5 minutes. We're gonna play a little interesting video from this clown today, this morning. You know, the little entertainment part of it. We're gonna get into Ahnk. Brother Ahnk's excellent presentation yesterday. See, no trolling. I'm not trolling him. He don't like it when I say certain things about him. We worked it out. Everybody thought we was gonna blow up, but we worked it out as men. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you're supposed to do things at the end of the day. Doesn't mean I always agree with them, but we worked it out as men. You know what I'm saying? Not all that clowning and buffoonery. And then I know if you guys don't know about that, you guys can go over there and check it out over there on Solar Mind's channel. That's Solar Vision Debate League. You guys go check it out over there. He came over there and gave an excellent presentation. I do feel like the presentation lacked cohesion, and it was a little hard for people to understand, but I got where he was going, but I think he could have gave it a little bit more oomph. It was definitely, I understood the part about the evolution, but he didn't connect evolution as it pertains to Egyptian society, because essentially they're two different sciences. And I was really putting some pressure on him about that. And yes, there are many disciplines within the field of Egyptology, but you have to connect it. You just can't start saying that it's all connected. You have to connect it and show why it's important. Because if you're talking about evolution, you're talking about the history of man. I think we all can agree with that. But if you're speaking on evolution, I can go into genetic evolution also and show you that E1B1A developed in East Africa. And that's what I was hoping you were going to connect. But don't worry, I will do a presentation connecting a genetic some genetic evolution, dealing with some genetic evolution family. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to try my best to connect it and show you all why Africans are all connected. And I think it's going to be a great showing. So with that being said, yes, it was fun yesterday. Said it was fun. I saw you in the chat trolling. We're going to play a little bit of that exchange between me and Ahnk yesterday. I want to say shout out to the USA men's Olympic basketball team bringing home that gold. Shout out to Eric Graham. Shout out to Infinite God once again, people, man. You know, I've been doing this a long time, and in doing this, I've come to understand that there are certain people that just don't need to be in our community, and we got a guy in Japan who metaphorically shoots his. Matter of fact, he just fell on his own sword. I mean, I call it pulling the King Saul. He literally fell on his own sword and assassinated himself because too many times he comes on the internet and he likes to troll people. But because he likes to troll people, he sets himself up to get run over by a bus. I mean, this guy can't get out of his own way. And when I say these things, it's because he's got tons and tons of footage online of making a complete ass out of himself. So, family, I give you all none other than Judah Nutsy. Let's go here and let's roll this, and we're going to get into the presentation with Brother Ahnk. While I make me some breakfast right quick, and this is going to be a quick 5-minute video. We going to get it in. This is hilarious. You guys pay attention to this, man, because this guy can't get out his own way, man. He should just go back to just teaching the Bible. This is going to be a 5-minute video. All right. Now, he goes off and says black people have the plague and monkey pox and all this, but we're going to see something here. So pay attention. This is hilarious. This is HOK's #1 shotter.
It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
They always dying from from the monster. Right? And what's the other one? What's the other monkey? Is it monkeypox?
Yeah, monkeypox. Yeah, it's spread through moho activities.
Right? Some of these dudes got the monkeypox.
Get them is it like bumps on your body or something?
Mm-hmm. Weirdos. But that's the community. Are they always dying from from the monster? Right? And what's the other one? What's the other monkey? Is it monkeypox?
Yeah, monkeypox. Yeah, it's spread through moho activities.
Right? Some of these dudes got the monkeypox.
Get them like bumps on your body or something?
Mm-hmm. Weirdos. But that's the community.
Well, they always dying from from the monster. Right? And what's the other one? What's the other monkey? Is it monkeypox?
Yeah, monkeypox is spread through moho activities.
Right? Some of these dudes got the monkeypox.
Get them like bumps on your body or something?
Weirdos. That's the community. Are they always dying from from the monster? Right? And what's the other one? What's the other monkey? Is it monkeypox?
Yeah, monkeypox is spread through moho activities.
Right? Some of these dudes got the monkeypox.
Get them, like bumps on your body or something.
Mm-hmm. Weirdos. That's the community.
That's Satan. How do I know? Because I was there. I had depression, which is nothing but goddamn demons, on me for years. I was thinking about killing myself, walking up, unaliving people.
Now, we know he ain't kill himself, and we know he didn't unalive people, but this right here,
gay shit.
You know, and I'm not judging you, but I'm just saying.
Look at what the Most High doing to this nigga.
Yeah.
Look at this nasty nigga.
Look at her.
This is why he swells up.
Yeah. Look at her.
So I'm like, you know,
bump,
fucked up, man.
stuff all over.
Yeah.
My fingers are fucked up. They're all swollen.
And that's
My
plus.
legs are all fucked up. So,
Bottom,
you know,
28.
I'm fucked up. I
That
got some,
white stuff you see is pus, everybody. It's pus coming out of him. Pus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Disgusting.
And this is why the Most High, that's why you don't see him sometimes. You might not see him for a week because the Most High swelled up his fucking throat. Swelled him up like, nigga, shut the fuck up. Be quiet. Shut up. Let's look at him.
yeah.
Yeah.
This
Damn.
was the body of an Indian beggar.
Yeah.
Like, look at this.
So I'm
thing.
like, you know, I'm fucked up, man.
Yeah,
My fingers are fucked up. They're all swollen. My legs and shit are all fucked up. So, you know, I'm fucked up. I got some cream and shit. I'm all fucked up, man. But I'm hanging in there. I'm going to try to get some beer to bring my...
Yeah, but you don't learn your lesson. I don't feel sorry for you, nigga. You don't learn your lesson. I wouldn't even get on YouTube and do all that shit right there. Like, you want people to feel sorry for you. You just a nasty nigga. Simple as that. You a nasty nigga, boy.
So don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
Oh man, I love that. That's so cool. Let's do this other one. You guys can go check this brother out. He has a channel called Unseen Soldier OMA. I don't know what the OMA means, but let's play this little video right here. This one was funny.
Come out and play. I know we had to do a remix, right?
Took one of my favorite songs of all time and ruined it. Tell him, Ralph. Tell him, Ralph. Tell him, Ralph.
I called Senator goddamn 5 times. You don't fucking believe me? This nigga would not answer the goddamn phone. So you know what? Motherfucker don't answer the goddamn phone. I don't give a fuck. Okay? I just keep fucking calling. Nigga won't answer the goddamn phone. Right?
I called Senator goddamn 5 times. You don't fucking believe me? This nigga would not answer the goddamn phone. So you know what? Motherfucker don't want to answer the goddamn phone. I don't give a fuck. Okay? I just keep fucking calling. Nigga won't answer the goddamn phone.
Fucking simp.
Right?
I called Senator goddamn 5 times. You don't fucking believe me? This nigga would not answer the goddamn phone. So you know what? Motherfucker don't answer the goddamn phone. I don't give a fuck. Okay? I just keep fucking calling. Nigga won't answer the goddamn phone.
I called Senator goddamn 5 times. You don't fucking believe me? This nigga would not answer the goddamn phone. So you know what? Motherfucker don't answer the goddamn phone. I don't give a fuck.
Telephone man, there's something wrong with my life. When I dial my baby's number, I get a click every time. Mr. Telephone man, something's wrong with my life. I dropped down her number. situation for a moment. I just can't take this anymore.
Please, Uncle, see what you can do. I dialed the right number, but I still couldn't get through. Will you just check the line?
Oh man, let's get this show going.
Hey, I just keep fucking calling, nigga won't answer the goddamn phone.
The answer by no man.
Oh man, so let's get right to it, man. Let's get to our lesson, man. Let's get to it, man. So y'all can see. Cedric said, "Call Tyrone, not son." I told you, boy, the internet would tear your ass up. All right, man. So check it out, family. Listen, this is our brother Robert West, also known as the God Killer, right? Ahnk. You got Ahnk. You got all these guys who had been arguing that Egypt was in fact not black. That's what they were saying. That's what they had been arguing this entire time. You can't call them black. We need to have an honest conversation. And I want to appreciate this gentleman's honesty with the sources that he brought forth yesterday as it pertains to Egypt. Now, once again, I'm sorry. We saw, or we know that I don't feel like the presentation that he gave us had the oomph that it needed, but I get what he was doing. He was talking about evolution. It probably was spurred a moment. He probably didn't have everything together. That's cool. I can respect that. You know what I'm saying? It's okay, right? But what you're not gonna do is think you talking over my head. That goes for all the pseudo killers. That's right. Academic warfare begins now, Cedric. No name calling, no disrespect, just academic warfare. I will be putting the link in the chat, and we will be dealing with me and Ankh's exchange, because I kept trying to catch him, because I want to show people that I too make mistakes with some of my debate tactics, because it was a great back and forth, and I think that's needed more in the community. So academic warfare begins now, Cedric Ortega. You might want to get the rest of the pseudo killers and bring them over here, because there's some things that he needs to explain based on the other panels that he's been on. Or maybe this was Ahnk clearing it up. This is why I said the Ahnk West speaks on evolution and proves Egyptians were black, because that's what his presentation said. Okay, so see, one of the co-captains of the pseudo killers said, let's get it. That means he's okay with it. We got 65 people in the chat. Shout out to Asiatic 777, Ancient History with Obi. Obi is in the building. He says Ahnk is pseudo. And everybody going in on you know who. So guys, I hope you guys enjoy the videos. Get over there and subscribe to the Unseen Soldier. Go check his channel out, man, because he really does highlight what people be saying. So let's get down to business. All right, because that's what this is about. All right. So Ahnk, as I said, he came on there. He started speaking on evolution. In the dialogue, it sounded more like a beginner's crash course on evolution, which I have no problem with, because I'm somewhat of a soft atheist anyway. I don't necessarily agree with intelligent design as I used to. That gets into gods and things like this. Shout out to C Dot is in the building. I don't really get into that anymore until something can prove itself. You understand what I'm saying? But neither here nor there. Ahnk went into the Brooklyn Museum and gave an excellent, I'm giving him props on this one, an excellent dissertation proving Egyptians were black. So now the whole Da Vinci Code, Ahnk done tore down the whole Da Vinci Code now. Ahnk, you on our side. That's why I said you agreed with me. This is what I have been saying for the longest. Now, either you agree with this or you don't, and I'm going to say somewhat that you do agree with it. I'm going to congratulate you for your academic honesty now. I'm gonna congratulate you on that. I'm really gonna congratulate you on this one, because I mean, you have outdone yourself. We're gonna get into some source material too, family, and I want you guys to watch this one, because if he doesn't agree with this, that means he just shot his foot off, and he just pulled an Israelite or a sister. What's that girl's name? I can't remember her. Naphtali, where he didn't fully understand the source that he was producing. But Chris Harris is a bookworm. Don't y'all forget that. Yeah, 77 people in the chat. Welcome to Chris MVP Harris channel Morning Coffee. As you guys see, it is called Ahnk West Speaks on Evolution and Proves the Egyptians Were Black. No C. It won't be good. It will be epic. So with that being said, as I always say, let's roll this beautiful bean footage.
Oh, I know what I gotta do. Hold on. I gotta do this. Got this thing figured out, boy. Here we go. Here we go. All right, here we go. Bam. All right, there we go. You see that, Solomon?
Yeah.
What'd that say?
It says African ancestors of Egypt and Nubia, from the Green Sahara to the Nile.
What's the date?
That says the 30th of April, 2022.
Now, most of this is in French. I don't know why he would produce this, because as you can see down here, everything is in French. So I didn't understand why he would produce this, but let's continue on.
December 31st, December 2030.
That's how long it's gonna be there. For everybody that ran their damn mouth, and everybody was talking crazy that ran their damn mouth, and everybody was talking crazy, and I don't know what you're talking about. I use the same damn sources. I'm supporting the 1974 conclusion. You know what I'm saying? Right here. This is what's in the museum. They was already on the case.
You know what? It's hard to hate Ahnk. His theatrics are just amazing. His theatrics are amazing. I gotta give him that.
Now, the beauty of Diop's was that he was saying, yo, they was indigenous Africans. He didn't understand about the Sahara part. Didn't know that. He wasn't on that side. He didn't agree with that. But the beauty of his work was he was capturing the essence that they was African. That's why he's in the Met Museum. He's not in the Met Museum from coming up with that they was Negroes and they was no, that didn't get off. But everybody keeps saying that. But I read it, so I'm not saying that's what the records is saying. You come right here and just say African ancestors from Egypt and Nubia, from the Green Sahara. This is actually from the display. I don't want to read none of that. Hold on, I'm going to read this. Located on the African continent, Egypt is nevertheless often perceived as being part of the Near East. While it ties with various Near Eastern cultures, see, don't leave it out. In both ancient and modern times are well established. So we don't got to talk about that. It's Egypt deep African roots and profound religious, artistic, and linguistic connection to other African cultures have often been overlooked. Alternative theories arguing, regarding the origins of pharaonic civilization, often guided by racist assumptions, have omitted the African context altogether. See, that's what Diop was trying to fight for. And instead proposed an idea ranging from invading white race to extraterrestrials. See what I'm saying? From early on, Egypt was
We got to go back on this because I don't think he just realized what he read. If everybody just realized Ahnk did not realize what he read, raise your hand, because this contradicts what they have been saying for the last 4 or 5 months. I hope Smash Rockwell is listening to this. Ahnk 4 months ago did not agree with this. Maybe this is him clearing it up. Maybe this is him trying to get out of the hot water right now. I don't know. But he said this is what he always believed. This is what he's always taught. So I'm going to take his word for it. I'm not going to insult this man's intelligence. But y'all are seeing right now that Ankh is proving that the Egyptians are black. Look, people in the chat, they agree with you, Ankh. They're, oh man, we're all seeing you agree with it. If you guys are agreeing that maybe if he's against this, this is actually proving him wrong, press 1. But I believe that he knew what he was reading. Either he did or he didn't. Let's read this slowly, because he does a lot of theatrics. You see what I'm saying? Ankh can give him theatrics real good, right? Let's read this. Let me go into character now. Located on the African continent, comma, Egypt is nevertheless often perceived as being part of the Near East. While its ties with various Near Eastern cultures in both ancient and modern times are well established, Egypt's deep African roots and profound religious, artistic, and linguistic connections to other African cultures have often been overlooked. This is why when I saw this, I said, whoa, we got to hit pause. Because you have racist historians who try to place Egypt in the Near East, but the artistic connections, the linguistic connections flow into other African cultures. It does not flow into Semitic culture until the invasions of Semites or migrations. In other words, it's been overlooked. Let's keep going. It says alternative theories regarding the origins of pharaonic civilization, comma, often guided by racist assumptions. That's very important, comma, have omitted the African context altogether. Now, we know at certain times that they have said that Africans could not produce high civilizations on their own. And this is why the conversations of Egypt get so intense, especially within African people who are trying to learn the history of the continent. Everybody knows I teach get out of that West Africa, East Africa, North Africa, South African nonsense, because they have conquered, that European has gone all in there and claimed parts of it as his own. Portuguese in the West, British in the South, Arabs and Semites in the North and East. Right? So when they're ready to just get rid of us, they pushing us all into the central interiors. They can just attack on all sides. People don't realize how militaristically they could just wipe us on out whenever they're ready to. Push us all in the center and be attacking from all sides. They would never be able to create a world front or a front for themselves being attacked on all sides like that. See, nobody ever grabs a map and looks at it. But that's another story. I want to read this again. It says alternative theories regarding the origins of pharaonic civilization, often guided by racist assumptions, have omitted the African context altogether and instead propose ideas ranging from an invading white race to extraterrestrials. You know, the Hermetic hypothesis. And there's no way them niggas or them Negroes or them Africans or those low-class beings or those savages could have produced those pyramids and those superstructures that are that exist over there in Africa today. There's no way they could have done it. Whiteness has to be. We have to find whiteness in this somehow to make this make sense. Let's keep going. So I think, I'm going to be honest, I think Ahnk agrees with this. He said he did. We're going to take his word for it.
Extraterrestrials. See what I'm saying?
And we know E.T. ain't came and built no pyramids.
From early on, Egypt was a multicultural society with significant disparities between various regions of the country. Do y'all get that? It say from early on, Egypt was a multicultural society with significant disparities between various regions of the country. So in different places on the Nile, this shit differed. Throughout the existence of pharaonic Egypt, Egyptians traded and exchanged ideas with and incorporated migrants from neighboring African populations, including Nubia, which would be considered sub-Saharan Africa, the nappy hair, modern Sudan, Libya, Punt, likely modern Ethiopia, and numerous other cultures of the ancient world. And no, I'm not saying that all Nubians got nappy hair, because I know they have run that. Let me get that out the way.
What? Let's go back.
Talk the way.
Let's read this. Once again, I think he's trying to read something into this. Now, I didn't necessarily get the source for any of this. It looks like a lot of taking a photo of a book or something like that and representing it. I'll try my hardest to get this all of this information. But I want to read what this says in its proper context. And it says, from early on, Egypt was a multicultural society. Multicultural. Multicultural does not mean multi-ethnic. It's two different contexts. So if you're reading this to imply that it had that is multi-ethnic, it makes absolutely no sense. It's multicultural, and I'm going to show you why. From early on, Egypt was a multicultural society with significant disparities between various regions of the country. Period. There's a period there. Throughout its existence, pharaonic Egypt traded and exchanged ideas with and incorporated migrants from neighboring African populations, including Nubia, Libya, Punt, Ethiopia, Punt, likely modern Ethiopia, and numerous other cultures of the ancient world. Notice, it's multicultural because Nubia's culture may differ from that of Egypt. Ethiopia's culture may differ from that of Egypt. But one thing they all have in common is that they are, in fact, Africans. Wow. We have to learn how to read with proper context. Once again, this is not me trying to sit back and insult Brother Ahnk. That's not what we're doing. I'm reading this in its proper context. Because see, my character is academia. I love being a bookworm. I can read faster. I can read and think faster than you when you're reading it. See, one of the things, big up Virginia, we got Big Cujo in the building. Big up Virginia, 2 up, 2 down. What we have is when you're reading, you have to be able to comprehend what's being said and listen to the context clues within it. If you're not reading with the proper context, you're gonna lack comprehension on what it is you're reading. I'm not talking about you, Ahnk. I'm not doing any of that, but you're messing up. Your theatrics are wonderful. I love the theatrics, but it won't work here. So this is talking about native African populations. I want to read this again so you can hear it. And so everybody can hear it. It says from early on, Egypt was a multicultural society with significant disparities between various regions of the country. Throughout its existence, pharaonic Egypt traded and exchanged ideas with and incorporated migrants from neighboring African populations, including Nubia, Libya, Punt, and numerous other cultures of the ancient world. They already, whoever wrote this, understands that they're Africans. You don't have to come with the multi-ethnic nonsense. They're Africans. I want you guys to note that. Let's keep it going.
archaeological excavations, along with anthropological and linguistic research, indicate that the Nile Valley was originally settled by nomadic people escaping the dry climate of the Green Sahara. The earliest inhabitants of Egypt, Nubia, and the Libyan desert produced similar types of tools, pottery, and religious imagery, pointing to their common African origin.
Let's go back. Let's go back. I love this presentation. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This is Ankh's greatest presentation in the history of greatest presentations. I think he nailed it. Would y'all agree? Press 1 if you think Ahnk is nailing this and proving that they were black. Or, I'm sorry, African. Did he nail it? Press 1. He's nailing it right now. That means everything that was said, from Chief X to Garfield to all the rest of them pseudo motherfuckers, not you, they were wrong. They were wrong. You're proving them right with this. I know you're going to try and go live and cover all this up and fix all this too, because I know you, Ahnk. I know you, Ahnk. Where's Cedric Ortega at? Oh, it was so much cheerleading going on with the pseudo killers in the chat. Where he at? Y'all seen any comments of our beloved brother Cedric? See, I'm just reading with comprehension. I'm reading with comprehension what he's presenting. Let's read this. It says archaeological excavations along with anthropological and linguistics research. Those are 3 different fields of study, which you guys are going to hear me arguing with about later on, indicate that the Nile Valley was originally settled by nomadic peoples escaping the dry climate of the Green Sahara. I'm sorry, there were no, those were not white people settling in there. Those were black people. Those were Negroes, as the world will call them, because Negro means black. You're going to see me and him have that conversation. See, I knew where I couldn't catch him yesterday, I would catch him this morning. I'm sorry, the Caucasian race or European race can't survive in the drying Sahara climate. It would be impossible, damn near. There's no way that they are native to those populations. You can present these models and present all of this. You're not fooling me with it. You got to understand that. You have to understand what it is you guys are looking at. And many times when you guys are looking at it, I just like, man, they really don't understand what they're reading. This is why I'm going to be putting together a presentation now. Based on this presentation, this is your greatest presentation. The earliest inhabitants of Egypt, Nubia, and the Libyan desert produced similar types of tools, pottery, and religious imagery, pointing to their common African origin. Whoo! Couldn't have said it no better. Could not have said it no better. There he is. What up, Sid? I'm just shaking my head again with the reason, Ahnk presentation started with. Oh, really? Okay. He said black and Negro. Was the conference about getting away from those racist terms? Yes, it was. Yes, it was about getting away from those racist terms, but that's not what we're arguing right here. We know how we have shaped the word black within our culture. All right? So when we say aloud, I'm black and I'm proud, that's a term of affection, the affinity that we have towards one another. No, we can say black. We can put a hedge around blackness. It's nothing wrong with that. You got to get out of that, because whiteness, they put a hedge around that. They do. Why can't we? There's nothing wrong with that word. How can one mean supremacy and one mean less than? We're gonna make black great again. That's the new one. Make black great again. Oh, they mad now. Here they go. Look, you didn't prove anything. Family, press 1 if I'm proving that this presentation is showing that these were indigenous black Africans. And you guys are going to see the killer that hit the killer slide that how he shot his own foot off. Guys are going to see it. No, it doesn't give him an out melanated. Because once you get rid of the word black in these type of conversations, you're eliminating an entire region of people, an entire people group here, and it allows them to push the narrative however they want to. Let's keep it going.
Common African origin.
African origin.
The traditions and language of the Saharan Neolithic population largely shaped the development of ancient Egypt and Nubia into the great civilizations we know today. In fact, many traits that were once viewed as essentially Egyptian were first attested in Nubia and are thus rooted in there and in the desert cultures.
I can look at that 1,000 times. Look how he turned around. Okay. All right, let's go back. Let's get it. I'm sorry, family. That is funny how he turns around.
What's up? Man, y'all ain't give me nothing to drink. Y'all, wow. No, let me see. Hold on. My fault. Kids just came in. It says traditions and language of this Saharan Neolithic population largely shaped the development of ancient Egypt and Nubia into the great civilizations we know today. In fact, many traits that were once viewed as essentially Egyptian were first attested in Nubia and are thus rooted there and in the desert culture. So the desert cultures in Nubia to their south and west of Egypt. The nomadic pastoral way of life adapted in Egypt, please know what the word adapted is in Egypt, and other North African cultures was first established by the most most ancient Nubian peoples. Similarly, the shared vocabulary of Afro-Asiatic languages, which includes the ancient Egyptian, points to the origin of these languages to the south.
Pause. If he could get away from all the theatrics, people would have understood this a whole lot better. And this is why I always say, sometimes when you're reading your sources, you got to be serious about that. Let's read this now. I don't think he understood what he read. Matter of fact, I think he did understand what he read. It says the traditions and language of the Saharan Neolithic population largely shaped the development of ancient Egypt. Let's read that again. The traditions and language of the Saharan Neolithic population largely shaped the development of ancient Egypt. It's simple. You got the Green Sahara, which dried up. These people began to migrate east, north, west, south. These were African peoples looking for more fertile land. New cultures began to develop as they migrated to different parts of Africa, because when you're migrating, you're going to start forming your own culture. You're going to be isolated from one another. And as the desert continued to expand, it formed somewhat of a barrier. You're going to have mutations in your genetic coding. Languages are going to change. Foods, diets, religions, writings. All of that begins to change because you're away from the population you once originated with. It says, in fact, many traits that were once viewed as essentially Egyptian were first attested in Nubia. Where do the Egyptians say they come from? Ta Seti. That is Nubia. I love this is your greatest this is one of your greatest presentations on. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. I appreciate this because I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that much work. Let's keep it going. I want to repeat that. In fact, many traits that were once viewed as essentially Egyptian were first attested in Nubia and are thus rooted there and in desert cultures to the south and west of Egypt. That's in the Sudan, which you would call the modern Sudan. It don't get no darker than that. The nomadic pastoral way of life adapted in Egypt and other North African cultures was first established by the most ancient Nubian peoples. In other words, the Egyptians were adapting their culture. That's what this says. This is why ontologically you'll see their religions always praise the Nubians, because they realize this is where they come from. Over time, they create their own society, their own governmental base, their own religion, their own script, because now their culture is becoming somewhat isolated as new people groups begin to come in from the Levant and do business with them. And then, different political ideologies begin to formulate. We know how that works. Trade, etc. Similarly, the shared vocabulary of the Afro-Asiatic languages, it's just African languages. We can get rid of the Asiatic element. But it says, let's continue on. It says, similarly, the shared vocabulary of Afro-Asiatic languages, which includes ancient Egyptian, points to the origin of these languages to the south of Egypt. The south is towards the Sudan. He's proving our point. The south is towards the Sudan. I'm sorry, the south is towards the Sudan. Yes. Well, actually, if you reverse the map, the north is the Sudan and the south is towards the Mediterranean. But what they're speaking on is a more modern sense, the south towards the Sudan. They're speaking in a modern sense. Let me clear that on up. It don't get no more blacker than Egypt. It just don't get no blacker than that in the Sudan. I'm sorry. There's no way around it. Let's keep going.
Of Egypt.
Of Egypt.
Funny. Ancient Nubian society developed alongside and close contact with Egypt. The two cultures mutually influenced each other. So we got a bunch of Negro pins wilding out, not giving the true context to who Nubia was and what role they played. The two cultures mutually influenced each other. It's important to know they mutually influenced each other. That's on both sides of the damn argument. They influenced each other. Shared many similarities and traditions. Until recently, however, many European and white American historians saw Nubia as Egypt's inferior neighbor. We heard black people saying it. Excavations of Nubian sites in the late 20th century revealed a thriving and sophisticated culture that developed independently, notwithstanding its close relationship with Egypt. The mighty kingdoms of ancient Nubia, in turn, established a trade network with Iron Age West African cultures. It say today, the legacy of ancient Egypt and Nubia is evident in the early elements of religion and rituals that persist in many later African cultures. We're closing it out.
Let's go back. I don't know what chapter he pulled this from because this is poorly put together. But I want to read this here. It seems like he was just flying through it. Let's read this slowly here. says ancient Nubian society developed alongside and in close contact with Egypt. Now, we've already read that the Egyptians adapted a lot of their lifestyle, religion, and language from ancient Nubian society. The two cultures mutually influenced each other and shared many similar traditions. I agree. Until recently, however, many European and white American historians saw Nubia as Egypt's inferior neighbor. We have to get that. See, we have to read that properly. So you have historians, once again, seeing Nubia as inferior. They were not. The most ancient traditions or the most ancient worship found in Egypt starts in Nubia, easily sourced. Excavations of Nubian sites in the late 20th century revealed a thriving and sophisticated culture that developed independently. They developed on their own. Remember, I was telling you guys how people, civilizations begin to form, cultures begin to form. They're by themselves. They're creating their own civilization. They're creating their own government, right? Chiefdoms, etc. It says Nubia developed independently. Nubia too has such a great civilization. So it says they developed a sophisticated culture that developed independently, notwithstanding its close relationship with Egypt. The mighty kingdom of ancient Nubia, in turn, established trade networks with Iron Age West African cultures. So I don't know how this relates to what he was just reading, but we see that we got Nubian culture creating trade with, guess whom, y'all? West African cultures. Now, if the oldest traditions in Egypt are found in Nubia before Egypt even existed, what do you think they'll be trading with West African culture? Ideas, religion, tools, medicine, literature. African peoples doing what they've always done, maybe? What, as if African people couldn't create trade for themselves? I mean, if we talking evolution, if we the first man, and that means we gonna have the first civilizations, right? I mean, how many times have y'all heard me say Egypt was a baby on the Nile compared to Nubia and Ethiopia? I mean, we're talking the Iron Age right here, right? I mean, help me out. Am I reading this wrong? Iron Age is what? Second millennium BCE? Because you got Iron Age 1 and Iron Age 2. So now this goes back to the second millennium BCE. You got Nubians making trade with West Africans. So you can't say that we're not connected to this area. Oh, West Africans don't know nothing about anything way over there. Now, I'm not saying that he is proposing that idea. But when I read or I listen, I try to listen and I try to read with a form of comprehension. The mighty kingdom of ancient Nubia in turn established trade networks with Iron Age West African cultures. Today, the legacy of ancient Egypt and Nubia is evident in early elements of religion and ritual that persist in many later African cultures. You got second millennium, you got first millennium, you got 9th century BCE, 8th century BCE, 7th century BCE, and they're seeing elements of these cultures through trade and commerce exist in other later cultures. So if trade existed, you better believe migration existed at the same time. So when you're trading and you're migrating, you're taking your ideas along with you to other cultures, and you begin to probably teach your culture to other cultures, and they begin to incorporate some of what you know into their culture, because it creates a more beautiful culture. This is how peoples of Africa work. We're not reading the Bible. We're not reading the book of Dan or some nonsense where God don't want you to absorb anybody else's culture. That's not how this works. You can't look at Egypt, Nubia, Ethiopia, West Africa, Central Africa, South Africa as a monolith and think you could debunk it as you do the Bible. It don't work like that. Oh, I love this presentation, Ahnk. I love this presentation. You was hitting the nail on the head. I don't think, I'm gonna be honest with you, a little jabbing and ribbing at you, you know. I don't think you knew what you were doing right here. Let's keep going.
That persists in many later African cultures. We're closing it out. Ancient Egyptian and African culture. The ancient Egyptians were an African people who first appeared in the Nile Valley around 4000 BCE and created the distinctive culture. Egyptologists no longer maintain, I'll say this again, Egyptologists no longer maintain the false hypothesis that light-skinned outsiders created Egyptian culture.
Thank you, Ahnk. Y'all put a 1 up in the chat if he just didn't prove the ancient Egyptians were black. Press 1. Press 1. I need y'all to press 1. Yeah, pseudo killers. Y'all died on this one. Y'all died on this one. Chef, you go back over there and play your video games. Give me your gaming tag and I'll body you next. But he daggered himself on this entire presentation right here. That is a dagger. That is a dagger right there. He daggered himself. Who were these lighter skinned populations that they once believed came and created Egypt? So the lighter skinned populations would be versus what? The darker skinned populations. That's a dagger. That's a dagger. Thank you, Ahnk. Thank you, Ahnk. Thank you, Ahnk. Thank you, Mr. West. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. West. Oh, man. Thank you so much. That one hurt. Look, Gary Franks for Uno. Yo, Chef. Let's keep going because we want to show this again. It says it right here. It says the ancient Egyptians were an African people who first appeared in the Nile Valley by 4500 BCE and created a distinctive culture. Egyptologists no longer maintain the false hypothesis that lighter-skinned outsiders created Egyptian culture. What do you want me to say? Let's keep it going.
I'm going to stop right there because I can do that.
Oh, no, you're not, because later on, I come on here and you guys are going to see me ask him to show the slide that I just read. And he showed this one. But I'll read this slide right here. And it says 19th and early 20th century historians largely interpreted the archaeological evidence on the African continent through a racist filter that rejected the notion that Africans could create a high civilization. Today, Egyptologists have data that clearly shows that Egyptian culture was invented by the indigenous people in southern Egypt and spread toward the Mediterranean Sea around 3000 BCE. Where's the South at? First, second, and third cataracts. It don't get no darker down there. That's down there by Uganda. Yes, we know that people were coming in from the Levant area in the north towards the Mediterranean. But this is what he put here. This is what Ahnk put up here. Sorry, Ahnk. Not gonna work. Let's keep it going. This evidence includes distinctive jars and bowls like those to your left. Well, he didn't show that. The decoration on these vessels first appeared in southern Egypt by 3400 BCE, and then by 3000 BCE. And then by 3000 BCE is found in the north during this period. Rectangular house designs from the south replace earlier oval houses in the north. So what they're seeing is the archaeological patterns that exist within their strategy or within their arts and crafts 400 years later begin to appear in the north. So it becomes a Mediterranean population or a Mediterranean culture through trade. Because I heard y'all saying, and I heard you too, Chef, saying that it was a Mediterranean culture. But you guys were saying that out of ignorance, not understanding a time frame. Shout out to Sister Shirley Larrier. I hope I'm clearing all this up for you. At the same time, distinctive southern oval-shaped graves begin to appear in the north, replacing northern shallow pit graves. So the culture from the south began to appear in the north. So guess what? When people like Seti, when people like Shankainchi Job, when people like Dr. Ben said that came from the beginning of the Nile, first, second, and third cataract, they were not lying. And you all laughed at them. But brother Ahnk, the God killer, Bobby Banger, came right here and proved everything we had been trying to reinforce. He proved us right. How you get away from that? No, you know what, Chef? I agree. I don't think me and Ahnk are in disagreement. I've been saying that the entire time. I have been saying that the entire time. I did all this in less than an hour. 126 people in the building. I want to say thank you all for coming in. I want to get into some information right quick. Let's read this right here. This is with the Nile Valley Collective. You guys should be familiar with this, if you're familiar with a lot of the arguments that's going on here. This is from the Nile Valley Collective. I want to read this to you all. It says the African dimension of Egyptian origins here. Important. This is an important. I want to read this. And it says Egypt is an African country situated in the northeastern part of the African continent. Throughout its long and complex history, the Nile River connected it to other African countries upriver, and its desert, once verdant due to climatic fluctuations, connected it with African regions south and west, and with Southwest Asia via the Sinai Peninsula, situated at the northern fringe of Africa. Egyptians engaged with peoples of the Mediterranean islands and southern coastal regions. Originating in eastern and southern parts of Africa, early humans made their way to Egypt. And this is what I wanted him to do. I wanted that brother to connect it. I felt like he was rushing. You have to connect it now. So I'm going to do it for you. So early humans made their way to Egypt, which served as an incubator of the early humans that were later to spread from northern Egypt to Southwest Asia and eventually to the rest of Asia and Europe. Permitted by the climatic fluctuations during the last ice age. The genetic split from the African Egyptian population and non-African populations occurred 55,000 years ago. At the end of the last ice age, global warming from 18,000 to 10,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, a transitional period of rapid alternation of dry and wet conditions permitted an acceleration of cultural innovations. These included the emergence of cultivating domesticated plants and the herding of domesticated cattle, sheep, goats, and pigs in Southwest Asia. From there, herding spread to the Red Sea Hills and the western desert of Egypt around 7,800 years ago, although cattle herding likely arose independently. At that time, African peoples of the Nile Valley depended on fishing as a dependable source of substances, while peoples in other regions of Africa diversified their dependence on wild food sources. By around 7,000 years ago, when the dry desert conditions shaping the desert landscape we know began to replace the green Sahara, agricultural production became first established along the Nile Valley, from the Delta to the Sudan. After the introduction of food production in Egypt, desert oases fed by groundwater in areas of hilly ranges and basins began to serve as stations in the cultural connections between Egypt and the Central Sahara, as well as sub-Saharan Africa. Favored with agricultural production and an interrupted flow of the river irrigating a cultivable flood plain from Nubia to the apex of the Delta, and in response to local fluctuations in agricultural yield, villages in Egypt began the process of cooperation, creating ever-expanding alliances that eventually led to the rise of the Egyptian state. In the meantime, agricultural herding practices spread from Egypt and the Sudan to other African provinces due the ongoing cultural contacts among African peoples associated with trade, population movements, and transmission and exchange of ideas and goods. Herding prevailed where pastures were present, whereas farming was practiced where land and water were available. African peoples maintained a political organization known as chiefdoms, which in later times became the basis for the rise of African kingdoms in many countries in response to changing political situations due to trade and encounters with colonial forces. Where did I lie at? This is how cultures are developed, through agriculture, exchanging of ideas, chiefdoms, political structure, strategy. This is simple. You didn't connect it yesterday, which I wanted you to do, and I think you were kind of like rushing. I'll give you a pass on that. You know your evolution. Ain't no doubt about that. I'll give you a pass on that. But you didn't connect it. Why it's important. From early hominids that left the African continent that went east into the Levant. I want to read this part. This is very important. This is connecting it, Ahnk. The original African populations of the Nile Valley, who showed a local gradual change in physical traits from south to north due to distance, hosted peoples who drifted from Southwest Asia. So the people in the north will begin to look somewhat different from the people in the south, because you have people coming back into Africa now. Let me reread this here. All right. Give me a second. Oh, give me a second. Okay. The peoples of Natzarah from 3800 to 3600 BCE near Luxor were more similar to the earlier herding farming communities in Badari near Asut, starting around 4400 BCE, who in turn were closer to their biological affinity to the Nubians. Thank you, Ahnk. You proved they were black. Dare ye say that Nubians aren't black? In addition, examination of the 12 Egyptian and Nubian groups revealed that they are similar, which indicates there may have been some sort of gene flow between these groups of Nubians and Egyptians or common adaptation to similar environments. Other studies reveal the elite who ruled the Natzarah region during the Natzarah period were an intermarrying segment of the local population more closely related to populations in northern Nubia than to neighboring populations in southern Egypt. Intermingling with peoples from Southwest Asia was more prevalent in the northern parts of the country. Greater interregional exchanges homogenized the biological profile of the Egyptians, increasing the similarity between the northern and southern populations. Simple. Yet another study of the dental features reveals that 1. The Badarian and Akkad peoples may be closely related, and 2. By 3000 BCE, when the Egyptian unified state was established, the Nile Valley became a melting pot of original inhabitants of the Nile Valley, with their southern affinities and drifters from the North African Sahara and Southwest Asia. The dynastic period that followed was an indigenous continuation and transformation of the Nakkada culture. That is very important. There is support for overall biological uniformity through the dynastic period, and 4. This uniformity continued to post-dynastic times. The indigenous origins of the Egyptian state and overall biological uniformity throughout the dynastic periods is confirmed by another recent study. Genetically, recent studies reveal that Egyptians include genetic imprints of the peoples of North Africa and the Horn of Africa, as well as Middle Eastern peoples, indicating the significance of the geographic situation of Egypt in the cultural relationships between Egypt and its neighbors. The early Nile Valley populations were coextensive with regional African populations and were later in constant contact with other neighboring African populations. It says right here, the idea of an Arab identity under the slogan of Arab nationalism was most emphasized by President Gamal Abdel Nasser as a means by which an Arab alliance could be established to counteract Western hegemonic forces. Nevertheless, Egypt was also a founding member of the Organization of African Unity and supported independence, decolonization, liberation movements in Africa from Algeria to Congo. So Ahnk got that part right. He got that part right based on his own study, that you had people, Arabs, that came in there and began to establish movements to help African peoples. He got that right. He got that right. We know the people that are there due to the Arabization of North Africa. And yes, they did establish some fronts. He got that part 100% correct. But let's keep going. That's just a side note. Throughout its history, peoples from the regions adjacent to the Nile Valley, including the Mediterranean basin, came and settled in Egypt. At this point, it's the most significant population in the area. It's huge. There's a lot of trade going on. So peoples coming from the Mediterranean basin will come there and settle there, and other parts of the Mediterranean basin. You know, that argument that Chief X wanted to have that made absolutely no sense, right? But they settled in Egypt because they're familiar with it through trade, commerce, maritime travel, especially during the period from the 4th century BCE to the 7th century AD, with a significant influx from peoples from Greek and Roman empires. The influx of peoples from the Arabian Peninsula during the 7th century AD, converting Egypt into a colony of the Arabic Islamic Empire, led within a few centuries, not without resistance, to the adoption of Arabic language and eventually the conversion of the majority of the population to Islam. By then, Egypt had been from 30 BCE to 395 AD under the rule of the Romans, with their forays in North Africa. Christianity found its way into Egypt before the commencement of the Byzantine rule in 395 AD. Notwithstanding the relatively small number of Arab settlers who flocked to Egypt after capture and recapture of Alexandria in 642 and 646 AD. The predominant use of the Arabic language as an official language and the conversion to Islamic faith, coupled with the loss of the Egyptian language, as well as the disappearance of the ancient Egyptian religious establishment and the marginalization of Coptic traditions, gradually transformed Egypt into an Arab country in the cultural sense. Egyptian scholars became actively engaged in evolving Arab culture, quote unquote, of the Islamic Empire, especially later when the religious identity was fundamental to the struggle between medieval Mamelukes and Christian crusaders. So let's stop right here. So when you get the Arabization of ancient Egypt or the entire northern tip of Africa, remember you had peoples there some 2,000 years ago flooding from that same area of the Levant. So when people are reading these genetic reports and saying, oh, the Egyptians these people have always been there. No, that's not true. You had migrations some 3,000 years ago prior to the Arabization. So when the Arabs came in there, it was easy to link them with the people who came over there during the Neolithic and Paleolithic periods, when they were coming back into Africa. So that would allow racism, white supremacy to say that, oh, those people have always been there. This is why I've always said that people don't know sometimes what it is that they're reading. Whew, a lot of reading. This sometimes is the boring part of the show. All right, let's keep going here. I think I could stop right there. I think that gave a great brief history of what happened to Egypt politically, religiously. And you guys can go trace those dates and these occupations of this country, this part of Africa, and you guys can see what began to happen there. Because them running to genetics at this point is just a cop-out to try to win an argument. So what do we get in the long run? We got Ahnk, who proved the Egyptians were, in fact, black. That's a grand rising and grand closing. I want to share this tab one more time. It says it right here. The ancient Egyptians were an African people who first appeared in the Nile Valley by 4500 BCE. They didn't first appear there. They were already there and created a distinctive culture. Egyptologists no longer maintain the false hypothesis that lighter-skinned outsiders created Egyptian culture. If you guys want to check out the rest of the video and check out me and Brother Ankh's engagement after this, you guys can go check it out over there at Solar Vision. It's unfair to play that whole video because I want to give his channel a bump so people can go over there and check that out, because me and Ahnk eventually began to engage one another, as you can see, and I don't think that's fair to Solar's platform just to play the entire video over here. You guys go check it out over there on his channel, and you guys let me know how you feel when we come back tomorrow on Morning Coffee, and we bang out with some information. Guys, press 1 if you guys understood what I'm saying. Did y'all get where I was going with that? As Chef would say, did I nail that for y'all? Did I nail that? Did I nail that? I sure hope so. Did I nail that? Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that one, especially coming from you. Thank you, Rio, Jackie Johnson. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Brazilian says, Chris, do Egyptians still ride camels to work? I don't know why you would ask me something like that, but okay, man. Petsy Usa. Oh, he's answering him. One. Smooth. Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I really, really, really appreciate that one. You just reiterated Ox points from the last 3 years. LOL. That's what he said. Nah, that ain't what Ahnk had been. If that is, congratulations. Egyptians are black. I've been saying it this whole time. He got it right. You guys go me checking out me and Ankh's argument once again over there at Solar Vision Debate League. Y'all go check that out. Hey guys, get over there and let's subscribe to that. Let's give his channel a boost here. Let's give his channel a bump up, guys. Hey guys, hit that like button if you guys like what you heard. If you guys want to donate, hey, check out the Cash App is right there. Chris Harris 79. That is the Cash App, guys. I'm getting ready to sign up out of here. I'm getting ready to start my day. I hope you guys have enjoyed this show. There was no trolling. There was no insults. It was just academia and a little bit of bantering. Hold on, let me put the link in the chat because I think Chef wants some work. I think Chef wants this work because you're going to come up in here with some BS. Come on in, Chef. Come on up here. Come on in, Chef. It is what he's been saying. He just don't use the word black. There's nothing wrong with using the word black. And we're going to get away from not using the word black. Because they use the word white. They throw the word white around all the time with terms like conservative. Hey, y'all fall for it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, guys, tune in later on tonight. We're going to be going into Elder Yara's fantastic fumble of political political strategy and understanding that he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Anybody running around talking about Kamala Harris, we shouldn't vote for her because she's not black, are idiots. Project 2025 is on the loom, and y'all talking about not voting for her. Y'all are out your minds. Oh, okay. Brazilian said, Chris, you just trying to make me laugh. I got you. Family, we getting ready to sign up out of here. Yeah. Elder Yara's fantastic fumble. Oh, we got Chef in the building. Yeah, what up? What up, big bro?
What's up, Chris?
What's going on with you? Why we can't use the word black? Explain to everybody why we can't use that word black, Chef. Go ahead.
I can't explain that. I never agreed with that part, but all of the information was in support always of what y'all was saying. So I don't know how y'all got in arguments with the brother when that's of the Armin Raw squad. Y'all just didn't like that he wasn't using the word black.
Okay.
You feel me? And everybody started arguing with the nigga. And he was basically scientifically and geographically trying to prove your point without using the word black. And everybody started arguing with him. He was arguing against me and Corey. Remember? And
that's how it all started. That's true. Right. Yeah, that's how it all started. Yeah.
So how could he be saying something different from y'all? You know what I mean? If he's arguing against us, that was saying the complete opposite of what y'all was saying. Well, he was trying to prove y'all point. He just said using the word black was anachronistic and you can't use it on ancient populations. So he did everything in the world not to use the word black, and you niggas still chose to argue on. Crazy.
Now, that ain't necessarily what happened. What my argument is it's okay to use the word black when defining ancient populations because they have been using the word white and they have been using the word lighter skin. So here it is. Their how can I say articulation of history was coming through whiteness. And I was just like, no. We can use the word black. There's nothing wrong with using the word black. They use whiteness. They put a hedge around whiteness. Why we can't put a hedge around blackness? That was my argument. But he started going into Shank Ain't to Joke, and he began to say things like, well, Shank Ain't to Joke got this wrong, and Shank Ain't to Joke got that wrong, because you said that they were all Negroes. But that argument itself, the articles that he proved, actually proves him wrong in his sentiment about these ancient populations.
No, it don't. If you read it again, it talks about how the population was a mixed population from people from the South, people from the Levant, and the original North African population. And it tells you that the North African population had already drifted off and started looking different from Southern populations, but it was still an indigenous population. So all of that went into the formation of how these people looked in their culture. Like, you read the whole thing, so it was clear. You feel me?
Okay, so let me read this to you, and let me ask you what you think about this. Let me ask you what you think about this, right? And this is what somebody put on there. It says, Sheffrin, if he's going to make those arguments about not using the word black, but use light-skinned outsiders in his slides, if the outsiders were light-skinned, what are the Africans?
No, it's the Africans ranged in skin complexion. But the point that the article is making, that it wasn't light-skinned Asians that created the Egyptian civilization. It's not saying that there wasn't light-skinned Africans. It's saying that the light-skinned Asians are not the progenitors of Egyptian civilization. That's what it's saying.
I agree with that, but it doesn't say light-skinned Asians. You can't add that into there. You can't do that.
The outsiders.
Yeah, right. They
like,
would, right. So who are the indigenous peoples then? Wouldn't there be a contrast there?
They talked about there was already an indigenous population that already started to look different from the southern population.
No.
Then it actually the look actually widened when you start adding in.
But how can they say lighter skin? But we can't say darker skinned Africans created this civilization. I mean, we in the Sudan. We near Uganda in the first, second, and third cataract.
No, you're not.
Brother, where does the Nile run?
You said, how the hell is the first and second cataract gonna be down in Uganda? That shit's still in Egypt and northern Sudan.
The Nile River runs all the way down to Uganda. Am I correct?
Yes, the Nile River. Dude.
Okay, that's the point I'm making. Okay. We know it's in the Sudan. Remember, there were no borders there. Ahnk said that last night. That's why I want everybody to go check out the argument we were having.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So in the first and second cataract, it's down there in the Sudan. It don't get no blacker than that. And we know Africans come in many different shades and colors. Ain't nobody arguing that. But how can they say light-skinned outsiders did not develop Africa? But then when we say darker-skinned ones did, why we can't say that?
You can say that.
Okay.
That argued against you saying that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, yeah. I mean, if you think that North Africans are a different complexion than Western Asians, I think Western Asians and North Africans both range in this dark to light olive complexion. So there's a range even within the dark skin of the skin complexion of the Western Asians. They're not just light skinned, so to say. You feel me? But they probably is in contrast to the southern population of the Sudan, which is noticeably more dark. Do you agree?
That's all we saying. And it tells you this is where the population came from, right down there in the Sudan.
Okay, the culture.
No, it said the peoples.
Yeah, but it was mainly emphasizing that when it came to the culture, because remember, it was telling you that, you know, by 400, the Egyptian population was intact. So we're talking about, you know,
you mean it began to develop on its own. But that doesn't mean that the Nubians and the Egyptians were not in contact with one another, marrying one another. It begins in the south.
Yeah,
there are no borders there. There's no borders there saying, hey, look, I can't marry you and you can't marry me. We look different. No, ain't none of that going on.
I don't think nobody ever made that argument.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just putting that out there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean,
but that argument.
When you put that out there, it's like somebody is saying that people can't mix and commingle with each other. You know what I mean? Nobody never made that argument.
Yeah, I got
you. Know what I mean? Nobody never made that argument. So when we do that, You know what I mean? It's like when you attack that, is like you saying that a person was actually saying that. You know what I mean? Nobody ever said that Sudanese and Egyptians, they lived on the border with each other. Why wouldn't they mingle? Why wouldn't the people in southern Egypt look like the people in the Sudan? You know what I mean? And I keep saying this, Chris, the people in Southern California look like the people in Mexico.
Some niggas in California don't look like no goddamn Mexicans.
What? You saying Southern Californians, the population of Southern California don't look like Mexicans?
Oh yeah. Puerto Ricans begin to look like Mexicans, and Mexicans begin to look like Puerto Ricans. They all look alike.
Not Puerto Ricans. I'm talking about.
You talking about niggas?
No.
Oh.
People. The population of Southern California.
I mean, because you got so much admixture there. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Oh, you talking about just overall Southern California?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's I've been there before. Yeah. You think you in Mexico sometime? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, Mundo. So you can go to Southern Egypt.
I ain't gonna argue that.
You can go to Southern Egypt and think you in fucking the Sudan.
But see, the problem is I want to go back, but it's essentially what Godmind said, and we're gonna get ready to close it out because I don't want to do a 2-hour stream. You going live tonight, by the way? You going live?
Yeah, I'm gonna go live and play my video game. I ain't fooling with y'all no more.
So Godmind says you can't be the one making arguments against using skin color and have a slide talking about light-skinned outsiders. You can't get around that. And there was just a lot of things that he was doing that was contradicting his own stance. Like when he was talking about Shankanchi Joe, and Shankanchi Joe was using racist terminology. And I'm all like, whoa, wait a minute. You're using Charles Darwin's work, and Charles Darwin also had a lot of racist rhetoric going on, and I showed that. So you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And that's sometimes where Ahnk gets a little messed up at, and people begin to jump on Ahnk. So if that was a debate, it would have been bad. You know what I'm saying? So I want everybody to get over there and check that on out. Tell everybody where they can reach you at. Chef, tell everybody where they can reach you at.
Oh man, y'all know I'm over there on the Carnivorous Podcast. Come holler at me. I partner with Try Media, so we're gonna try some new stuff. So that's what I'm doing. I ain't really making no noise. I'm gonna leave these arguments to y'all. Y'all do an awesome job at it. So y'all keep on pushing. You feel me?
No
I
doubt.
jump in when I need to jump in. Appreciate you, Chris.
All right, bro. Peace. Let's get this back on up, family. We got Ahnk in the building. He says, what in the world is going on? I showed your presentation. I showed where you got things right. I showed where you got the Egyptian argument right. I showed where you got the Nubian argument right. I showed all of that without I never called you out your name. I never said anything rude about you. I only dealt with the information, and I dealt with it on a logical, comprehensive term where everybody could understand it. And I even took evolution and I brought it all together as it pertains to Egypt, with early hominids first leaving off the continent in the East African area. And that's what I wanted you to do. That's what I wanted you to do yesterday. You was probably rushing through it. That's all I was saying. So there he is, family. Ahnk Cat is in the building. There it is. It's called Ahnk West Speaks on Evolution. Improved Egyptians were black. That being said, guys, we getting ready to sign up out of here. Shout out to the Pseudo Killers. Shout out to Solar Vision Debate League. Shout out to By Any Means. Shout out to Ahnk. Shout out to Brandon Angola. Judas Redemption, Behold, Rainwater, Psycho Patheus is in the building, Godmind in the building, Akili Negus is in the building, Ancient History with Obi in the building. What else we got up in here? Each One Teach One is in the building. Man, I went over there to his channel one day, y'all. I did not feel black by the time I left that channel. I felt so bad. Like, yo, shout out to Kenton Kushite Young. Smooth was in the building. How you doing, man? Thank you for stopping by, guys. Hit that like button on your way out as we close the show out. Let's see who else we got up in here. We got Smooth is in the building. Shout out to Sister Shirley Larrier. Shout out to Godmine Hickams is in the building. Nana Asado, Krukubor, Rio Solid 77, Derek Franks, Sheffrin, Cujo, Smooth. Once again, Ava EQQ8 is in the building. Cedric Ortega was in the building. Melanated Goddess was in the building. Guys, remember, we can all agree to disagree as men. It shouldn't be fights and insults. Let's change the paradigm. Let's get back to decorum, understanding, and intelligence. And shout out to the right hand, C.Hustle. You guys make sure you get over there and subscribe to Supreme Intelligentsia Debates and Conversations. Guys, I need 50 subscribers so I can begin to hit the live button over there so I can get into my bookworm stuff. And shout out to Sola, the commissioner. With that being said, guys, I'm going to leave y'all with this. And we're going to sign on out. And I'm going to say it again. I think Ahnk presentation was excellent yesterday. I do. I really do. I really do. Let's get ready. I'm going to leave y'all with this video right here. We're going to say shout out to the biggest loser in the history of the House of Christians. Let's get it up and let's cook this clown.
Come out and play. I know we had to do a remix, right?
Hit that like button. Tell him, Ralph.
Mr. Telephone Man, there's something wrong with my life. When I dial my baby's number, I get a click every time.
I called Sumner goddamn 5 times. You don't fucking believe me? This nigga would not answer the goddamn phone. So you know what? Motherfucker don't answer the goddamn phone. I don't give a fuck. Okay? I just keep fucking calling. Nigga won't answer the goddamn phone. Right?
I called Sumner goddamn 5 times. You don't fucking believe me? This nigga would not answer the goddamn phone. So you know what? Motherfucker don't want to answer the goddamn phone. I don't give a fuck. Okay? I just keep fucking calling. Nigga won't answer the goddamn phone.
Oh, 5 times. Expression got him flipping.
Right?
I called Sumner goddamn 5 times. You don't fucking believe me? This nigga would not answer the goddamn phone. So you know what? Motherfucker don't answer the goddamn phone. I don't give a fuck. Okay? I just keep fucking calling. Nigga won't answer the goddamn phone. I called Sumner goddamn 5 times. You don't fucking believe me? This nigga would not answer the goddamn phone. So you know what? Motherfucker don't answer the goddamn phone. I don't give a fuck.
Mr. Telephone Man, there's something wrong with my life. When I dial my baby's number, I get a click every time. Mr. Telephone Man, something's wrong with my life. I dial a number, I get a click every time. Situation's wrong with my life. Just can't take this anymore.
Please, operator, see what you can do.
What a clown.
But I still couldn't get through. Will you just check the line just one more time if you can?
Okay, I just keep fucking calling. Nigga won't answer the goddamn phone.
Answer by no man.